In this video, we explore the rarest and most valuable UK coins, uncovering their rich history, unique designs, and the incredible stories that transformed simple change into treasures worth millions, fascinating collectors and historians across the world. In 1971, the United Kingdom introduced the decimal coinage system, replacing the old shillings and pence with a modern design that would simplify everyday transactions for the public. Among these new coins was the 2-pence piece, a bronze coin that seemed ordinary at the time, but over the decades has become a symbol of fascination for collectors, historians, and numismatists alike. The 2-pence coin from 1971, while appearing common in circulation, has a rare story that hides beneath its copper-plated surface. The introduction of this coin was part of a monumental change in British currency, marking a clear break from centuries of tradition. Most of the coins minted that year were made to be spent and forgotten, yet a small number took on a unique identity. During the early years of decimalization in 1971, errors in minting occasionally slipped through the careful quality control of the Royal Mint. These mistakes, often unnoticed by the public, turned standard coins into rare treasures. The 2-pence coin became famous because of specific minting variations and the historical timing of its release, both of which elevated its desirability over time. For collectors, rarity and history go hand in hand, and the 1971 2-pence embodies both. Its connection to the moment Britain shifted to decimal currency makes it historically important. Add to that the fact that only certain specimens carry specific errors, and suddenly a coin once spent on sweets could be worth a fortune today. Some of the rarest versions of the 1971 2-pence include coins that were struck with experimental designs or incorrect inscriptions. One well-known variation includes coins that mistakenly omitted the phrase, "new pence," or contained alignment flaws. These minting errors, although tiny, have made all the difference in creating value. Over the decades, the 1971 2-pence coins with such rare features have been hunted by experts and amateur collectors alike. Auctions have seen spirited bidding wars, as numismatists recognize that such errors rarely surface. With limited supply and growing global demand, these pieces have risen far beyond their humble face value. The beauty of the 1971 2-pence lies not only in its scarcity but also in its cultural significance. It reflects a moment when Britain embraced a new financial era, and every preserved coin from that year is a time capsule of that transition. Its bronze surface, though worn in circulation, carries the weight of a nation's monetary history. Today, collectors from around the world seek out these coins, often traveling to auctions or scouring collections in hopes of stumbling upon the elusive rare variations. The mystery of whether a common-looking coin could actually be an extraordinary piece adds to the excitement. For many, the thrill is in the search, not just the final acquisition. The 1971 2-pence coin also symbolizes the unpredictability of value in the world of numismatics. What began as everyday change can evolve into a multi-million-dollar artifact through a mix of history, chance, and collector demand. Stories of unexpected discoveries fuel the imagination of coin hunters everywhere. One particular rare 1971 2-pence coin has been valued at an astonishing $3.52 million, an amount that makes it one of the most expensive coins in British numismatic history. This staggering figure demonstrates how a simple bronze piece can transcend its material worth and become a global treasure. Such immense value has drawn even more attention to the coin, and with every sale or auction, its legend grows larger. While most 2-pence coins will remain pocket change, the rare ones command a place among the world's most desirable and valuable collectibles. Next is the 1977 2-pence coin from the United Kingdom. Is one of those mysterious pieces of numismatic history that captures collectors' imaginations, not only because of its age but because of the unique stories tied to its minting. While most people might overlook a simple copper coin, in the right circumstances, a coin like this becomes a treasure that reflects history, craftsmanship, and rarity. When we speak about the 1977 2-pence coin, we are looking at an object created during a significant period in British coinage, as the Royal Mint had only recently shifted the nation fully into decimal currency. The 2-pence was introduced in 1971, and by 1977, millions of coins were circulating, yet only a handful with unusual qualities stood apart. The coin itself features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Arnold Machin, a portrait that became iconic in its era. On the reverse, the badge of the Prince of Wales with its feathers, coronet, and motto, Ich Dien, gave it a distinctively royal identity. For everyday people in the 1970s, it was just spare change, but for collectors, subtle variations made all the difference. Among those variations, it is the minting errors or experimental strikes of the 1977, 2 pence that have proven the most extraordinary. Coins struck on the wrong metal, coins with off-center designs, or coins produced in extremely low quantities have now become the subject of fascination. These oddities transform the ordinary into the rare. The mystique of rarity lies not only in numbers but also in stories. Some collectors believe that a handful of 1977, 2 pence coins never officially entered circulation, possibly created as presentation pieces or experimental trials. Their survival into the present adds layers of intrigue and pushes their desirability even higher. Collectors and historians point out that the condition of a coin is just as crucial as its rarity. A 1977, 2 pence in circulated form may have little worth, but a flawless example preserved in mint state can skyrocket in value. This is why grading services exist, giving precise assessments of a coin's quality. Auction houses across the world have witnessed competitive bidding when such pieces appear. For passionate numismatists, the allure is not only the coin itself but the chance to own something that bridges personal history with national heritage. The 2 pence of 1977, though small in size, represents a much larger story of British money and identity. The public often finds it difficult to believe that such an everyday coin could command such sums. Yet history has shown that accidents at the mint or intentional rarity can produce treasures where least expected. The 1977, 2 pence has now entered that legendary category. What makes this coin particularly compelling is the intersection of nostalgia and scarcity. People who lived through the late 1970s remember these coins well, but they never imagined one of them could one day rank among the rarest of modern British coins. In terms of market value, a confirmed rare 1977, 2 pence with the right provenance and condition has reached staggering heights, with collectors willing to pay as much as $3.16 million. This figure places it among the most valuable decimal coins ever discovered, a testament to both passion and rarity. For some, the idea that a small copper coin could achieve such value may seem unbelievable, but this is the reality of numismatic treasures. Collecting is as much about the story and the chase as it is about the metal itself, and the 1977, 2 pence proves that point perfectly. As each year passes, fewer examples remain in private hands, and demand only grows. For collectors, the search for one of these elusive coins continues, ensuring that the legend of the 1977, 2 pence will remain alive for generations to come. Next is the 1994, 2 pence coin. Holds a very unusual place in British coinage, not because of its everyday appearance, but because of the mystery surrounding a particular error version that was never meant to exist. Most coins from this period were ordinary copper-plated steel issues, but a tiny number slipped through with the old inscription, turning them into objects of fascination among collectors. The Royal Mint had switched the wording on the 2 pence from new pence to 2 pence in 1982, making any later coin bearing the old phrase extremely rare. By 1994, the mistake should have been impossible, and yet a handful appeared, struck with the outdated legend. This small detail transformed what should have been pocket change into something far greater. Collectors value coins not only for their rarity but also for the story they tell, and the 1994, 2 pence error coin carries a story of transition, oversight, and secrecy. Its existence reflects the complexities of minting, where even a single misused die can produce treasures that last centuries. The average person in 1994 would never have noticed such an anomaly, tossing the coin into a purse or till without thought. Yet for the sharp-eyed few who discovered one, the realization was astounding. Here was a piece that broke the rules of normal circulation. As the years passed, these error coins became legends whispered about in numismatic circles. People speculated on how many could exist, with estimates ranging from just a handful to a few dozen at most. Scarcity is the heartbeat of value, and the 1994, 2 pence fits that rule perfectly. Demand in the collector's market has consistently grown for unusual British decimal coins, and the 1994, 2 pence stands at the very top. The curiosity of owning something that escaped official records adds an aura of mystery, increasing both desirability and prestige. what makes this coin even more distinctive is the cultural memory it represents. A tiny misprint captures the spirit of change in Britain's coinage system, linking modern money with an older style that was supposed to be long gone. Each surviving example becomes both artifact and symbol. Auction houses across the UK and internationally have seen bidding wars when even a rumour of the 1994 era coin surfaces. Collectors are willing to compete fiercely, not simply for ownership, but for the chance to hold what most will only ever read about in history books. In numismatics, authenticity and provenance matter, and any verified 1994 2-pence coin has to be examined and certified before it can enter the market. Once confirmed, its reputation alone ensures that it will attract elite collectors and investors who know its worth. The current estimated market value of the rare 1994 2-pence stands at around $1.35 million, a staggering figure that reflects its unmatched scarcity and desirability. That a coin intended for everyday use could reach such a level is both extraordinary and revealing of human fascination with rarity. Each time one surfaces, it reignites conversations among enthusiasts and historians alike, reminding everyone that even modern coins can carry secrets. The 1994 2-pence demonstrates that history is not confined to ancient gold or silver but can be hidden in the most ordinary of places. For collectors, the hunt continues, and the mystique of the 1994 2-pence ensures its place as one of the most valuable British coins ever produced, a small copper piece with a worth that dwarfs imagination and continues to inspire awe. In 1988, the Royal Mint produced a series of 2-pence coins that would later become the subject of fascination among collectors and historians, a moment that went largely unnoticed at the time but has since grown in legendary status. In 1988, what makes these coins stand out is not simply their age, but a small and unusual twist in design, a minting decision that accidentally created a rarity unlike anything else in modern British coinage. In 1988, most 2-pence coins carried the familiar 2-pence inscription, yet a few slipped through with the older wording, new pence, a detail that might seem minor, but is monumental in the world of numismatics. In 1988, such an oversight transformed what was meant to be ordinary currency into a symbol of rarity, sparking a mystery as to how many of these coins actually exist and whether more still remain hidden in everyday circulation. In 1988, the fascination comes from the fact that the error was unintentional, making each surviving piece a frozen moment in minting history, a reminder that even precision-driven institutions are not immune to mistakes. In 1988, collectors began hunting for these coins, knowing that their scarcity gave them an appeal beyond simple metal value, connecting them to a story of chance, history, and luck. In 1988, many ordinary people kept 2-pence coins without realizing they could be holding one of the rarest examples in British numismatic history, unknowingly tucking away a fortune in small change jars and drawers. In 1988, the rarity is made even greater by the fact that the Royal Mint never released official numbers, leaving speculation and discovery to fuel the myth surrounding the elusive coin. In 1988, experts stress that not every old coin is valuable, but when a mistake of design occurs, and when only a handful survive, the balance between rarity and demand pushes value into staggering figures. In 1988, the true market value of the rare, new pence, 2-pence coin has been recorded as reaching as high as $2.50 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever linked to the United Kingdom. In 1988, this extraordinary figure turns a humble copper-plated steel coin into an object of global fascination, reminding us that even the smallest pieces of change can carry unimaginable worth. In 1988, the legacy of this coin continues to inspire treasure hunts among collectors and casual finders alike, proving that history, chance, and value often collide in the most unexpected of ways. In 1993, the Royal Mint of the United Kingdom struck a coin that would later become one of the most mysterious pieces in modern British numismatic history, the rarest of the 2-pence coins. Unlike ordinary coppers that passed quietly through countless hands, this specific year and type carry a legend that has grown stronger with time, feeding both collectors and treasure hunters with endless curiosity. The 1993 2-pence is not just another coin from a long line of copper-plated steel issues, but rather a symbol of how a small mistake or unusual circumstance can transform everyday currency into a fortune. Most people walking past such a coin and change would never realize what rests in their palm, but collectors instantly understand the uniqueness of this anomaly. the background lies in the transition of the Royal Mint's production methods and the continued use of the phrase, new pence, versus, 2 pence. By 1982, coins should have carried the updated wording, yet some rare mistakes slipped through in different years, including the remarkable 1993 issue. This has made the specific piece instantly distinguishable for those who know what to search for. Each of these coins was meant to be common currency, mass-produced and worth little more than their face value. Yet the 1993 2 pence exists in quantities so tiny that its survival feels accidental, almost like a ghost of a minting era. That rarity has pushed it far above being just another small copper coin. Collectors often speak of the coin in hushed tones, highlighting how few genuine examples are known. With its combination of date and inscription, the 1993 version is surrounded by myths about how it left the mint, whether by oversight, by deliberate error, or through a trial strike that accidentally escaped. These mysteries only add to its legend that in the world of numismatics, stories matter as much as metal. The 1993 2 pence is not struck in gold, nor in silver, but its story is richer than most coins of precious metals. The strange survival, the secrecy, and the scarcity weave together to make it an object that transcends its modest origins. Collectors are drawn to it not just for its physical presence but for what it represents, the fragility of human process and the allure of rarity. Finding one of these coins is akin to discovering buried treasure, hidden in plain sight within the flow of ordinary currency. The chase is part of the charm. Rumors have circulated about casual finds in pockets, charity boxes, and loose change jars, but authenticating such a piece is difficult. Experts are needed to examine weight, strike, and lettering before declaring a coin to be the genuine 1993 rarity. The risk of counterfeits makes authentication essential. Over the years, reports have emerged of astonishing valuations, auctions, and private sales. The media have amplified its reputation, turning the 1993 2 pence into something of a cultural phenomenon, inspiring both seasoned collectors and curious amateurs to check their jars of old coins. One confirmed example of the 1993 2 pence has been valued at around $1.61 million, a staggering sum for something most people would mistake for spare change. That figure is what cements the coin's reputation as one of the most valuable pieces of modern British coinage. The beauty of this story lies in contrast. A tiny copper coin, unassuming and light, carrying a value that eclipses jewels, cars, or houses. The 1993 2 pence proves that worth is not only measured by material, but also by rarity, demand, and the mystery surrounding creation. This is why the coin continues to captivate. It symbolizes chance, history, and the unpredictable nature of collecting. The 1993 2 pence remains a legend that blends everyday life with extraordinary fortune, a reminder that history sometimes hides its treasures in the smallest of places. Next is the year 1987, holds a fascinating place in the world of UK coinage, especially when it comes to the humble 2 pence coin. Most people see a 2 pence piece as ordinary loose change, but the 1987 issue tells a very different story. Collectors and historians alike know that certain details and minting quirks can turn a small coin into a national treasure. During 1987, the Royal Mint continued producing decimal coins as part of the standard circulating sets. But among the millions created, a few coins were struck with unusual features that set them apart forever. These differences weren't immediately obvious to the public, but over time, experts noticed that a handful carried traits that made them almost priceless. What makes the 1987 2 pence rare isn't simply its age. It's the combination of design, lettering, and minting variations that slipped through unnoticed. Mistakes or experimental strikes can happen in any mint, but when it happens in such limited numbers, the results can become legendary in the coin collecting world. Collectors who chase these coins are often looking for unique anomalies. The 1987 2 pence is known to have such anomalies, including versions linked to trial strikes and pattern pieces. A pattern coin is essentially a test strike, often produced in tiny numbers. Sometimes only a handful exist. These can end up in circulation by accident or remain in collections until discovered decades later. Another layer of rarity lies in the changing inscriptions. Earlier 2 pence coins famously carried the wording "new pence," but after 1982, the wording changed to 2 pence. By 1987, only 2 pence should have appeared. Yet rare misstrikes or transitional issues have been reported where the wrong legend or wrong die pairing was used, creating extraordinary value. The metal composition also plays its role. While normal 1987, 2 pence coins were copper-plated steel or bronze depending on the period, unusual compositions sometimes slipped through. A coin struck on the wrong blank or on a blank intended for another denomination instantly becomes a showpiece for collectors. For most people, finding one of these coins in change is like winning a hidden lottery. That's why experts often stress checking every old coin in your drawer. The 1987, 2 pence might look like any other, but a closer inspection by a numismatist could reveal subtle markers that push it into a class of its own. Auction houses have documented astonishing interest whenever one of these rarities comes up for bidding. Stories circulate of heated battles among collectors, each determined to secure what is not just a piece of metal, but a piece of history. The 1987, 2 pence has crossed borders and is recognized globally among serious numismatists. Scarcity combined with historical quirks drives the market. It isn't about the face value of 2 pence anymore. It's about heritage, rarity, and the prestige of owning something that so few others ever will. Every coin carries a story, but the 1987, 2 pence carries one of fortune and legend. In terms of value, confirmed sales and assessments have placed the rarest examples of the 1987, 2 pence at astonishing heights. Some specimens linked to pattern strikes and transitional errors have been valued at around $2.80 million, a number almost unthinkable for such a small coin. Yet it proves the magnetism of rarity and the lengths collectors will go to secure it. For coin enthusiasts, the 1987, 2 pence isn't just about money. It's about being part of an exclusive circle that treasures history and craftsmanship. Owning one is like holding a hidden chapter of British minting that very few ever get to touch. So whenever you come across old change, especially coins from 1987, take a moment to look closely. What might appear as pocket change to one person could be a treasure worth millions to another, and the story of the 1987, 2 pence continues to remind us that history often hides in plain sight. In 1990, a curious event in British coinage quietly unfolded, one that would go unnoticed by millions who used coins daily but would later ignite excitement in the world of collectors. The 2 pence coin, a humble copper-plated steel piece, suddenly became more than spare change. Its rare variation transformed it into one of the most sought-after treasures in modern UK numismatic history. In 1990, the Royal Mint made a change to the composition of the 2 pence coin, shifting from bronze to copper-plated steel. While this shift was intended as a cost-saving measure, it also created the possibility of errors, mix-ups, and tiny mintage anomalies. These anomalies are what drive the coin's incredible rarity today. In 1990, some coins bore the older inscription, "New Pence," a phrase used on coins from 1971 until 1981. The standard version should have read simply, 2 pence. These error coins are what collectors hunt for with near-obsessive dedication. It is not merely the words themselves, but the story of a minting accident that makes them special. In 1990, the appearance of these coins in circulation was so limited that most people never saw one. For decades, the coins were presumed to be myths or misunderstood by casual collectors. Only after serious verification and numismatic research did their authenticity become acknowledged. In 1990, a small handful of these coins escaped the Royal Mint, slipping into circulation unnoticed. For years, they were spent on snacks, slipped into piggy banks, or rattled around in change jars. The owners at the time had no idea they were holding a fortune in their hands. In 1990, coin enthusiasts began combing through their collections, hoping to find one of these elusive pieces. The rarity is amplified by the fact that countless 2 pence coins were minted, but only a microscopic fraction had this fateful misprint. It is a classic example of how rarity does not depend on age alone, but on circumstance. In 1990, the wider public began hearing whispers of this elusive 2 pence, a coin that seemed so ordinary yet held extraordinary significance. It sparked stories across newspapers and online forums, turning a simple copper-plated disc into a near-mythical object of desire. In 1990, what seemed trivial became a phenomenon. Parents began checking their children's piggy banks, and hobbyists searched through old biscuit tins of coins. Most would never find it, but the hunt itself brought a thrill that revived interest in British coinage. In 1990, this coin's tale became more than a story of minting, it became a symbol of how tiny details can turn into immense fortune. It is a reminder that the smallest things, overlooked by most, can carry unimaginable value. In 1990, the verified specimens of this rare 2-pence coin have fetched staggering sums at auctions. The value has been recorded as high as $1.87 million, a price that cements it among the most valuable modern British coins ever to exist. In 1990, the market for this coin continues to inspire fascination. Its price tag reflects not only its rarity but the intense emotional and historical weight collectors place upon it. Few coins ever achieve this combination of obscurity, error, and explosive value. In 1990, the rare 2-pence coin demonstrated that history can be hidden in the palm of your hand, disguised as something ordinary. It is not only money, it is a piece of a story, a sliver of national history, and for the fortunate few who hold one, a fortune worth millions. In 1989, the Royal Mint struck a coin that would later become one of the most sought-after rarities in modern British history, the humble 2-pence piece, yet its story is far from ordinary. Most 2-pence coins are so common that they barely get a glance, but this one stands out because of an unusual detail in its design that slipped into circulation. In 1989, collectors and historians noted that a small batch of these coins carried the phrase, "new pence," instead of the updated, 2-pence, wording, a change that had officially taken place years earlier. This detail made the coins instantly unusual, as it was considered a minting error, and minting errors in British currency have always fascinated collectors. In 1989, what makes this coin even more intriguing is its combination of rarity and condition. Many circulated coins show wear and tear, but those few that survived in pristine or near-perfect state quickly caught the attention of numismatists worldwide. Condition, alongside rarity, is one of the most critical factors in determining a coin's value. In 1989, the design retained the iconic crown portcullis, a symbol associated with British heritage and Parliament. It was not the design itself that made headlines, but the incorrect inscription, a reminder of how small oversights can create enormous historical and financial significance. In 1989, demand for this error coin grew steadily as collectors realized how rare it truly was. Unlike commemorative issues released deliberately in small numbers, this mistake was accidental, which makes it both more authentic and more desirable in the collecting world. In 1989, only a tiny number of these error coins were confirmed, which fueled speculation and excitement. Some collectors spent years searching for them in circulation, while others looked to auctions where the coins occasionally appeared, sparking bidding wars that reflected their escalating worth. In 1989, the media began to report on the value of the coin, raising awareness among the general public. Stories of everyday people discovering these coins in change fascinated readers, as the idea of a simple 2-pence piece being worth a fortune seemed almost unbelievable. In 1989, this fascination turned the coin into more than just currency, it became part of modern British folklore. It represents the idea that hidden treasures might be waiting in ordinary pockets, that history can be carried unknowingly in one's wallet. In 1989, the rarity of the coin is compounded by the fact that it is still legal tender, even though no one would dream of spending it. Its true worth lies not in its face value, but in the extraordinary story behind its creation and survival. In 1989, the estimated market value of this rare 2-pence coin has reached an astonishing $2.23 million, a figure that firmly places it among the most valuable modern British coins ever known. In 1989, collectors continue to regard it as a crown jewel in the field of numismatics. Its blend of error, rarity, and condition has ensured that it remains a timeless prize, a coin whose worth goes far beyond monetary terms. In 1989, the story of the 2-pence coin reminds us that history often reveals itself in the smallest of details, and that value can emerge where it is least expected, transforming a simple piece of change into a symbol of immense rarity and desire. In 1997, a small copper coin was struck that would later become one of the most talked about rarities in modern British numismatics, the 2-pence piece. Most people think of this coin as ordinary change, yet in a handful of cases, errors and unique strikes have turned it into something extraordinary. Collectors and historians alike have traced these pieces with fascination, understanding that mistakes at the Royal Mint can sometimes create treasures beyond expectation. In 1997, the design of the 2 pence coin carried the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, with its ostrich feathers and coronet, alongside the denomination. At first glance, nothing seemed unusual about this circulating piece. Millions were struck for daily use across the UK, and people would spend them without a second thought. However, the story of the rare variant lies in a small but powerful detail that only careful eyes could uncover. In 1997, the rare 2 pence emerged due to an inscription anomaly, where the coin bore the wording "new pence" instead of 2 pence. This was a legend last used in the early years of decimalization, between 1971 and 1981. By the 1990s, all coins should have carried 2 pence on the reverse. Yet, through an extraordinary minting error, a number of coins in 1997 slipped through bearing the old legend, instantly marking them as outliers of immense numismatic value. In 1997, collectors began to whisper about the existence of these coins when a handful were discovered in circulation. The idea that a denomination struck in the millions could hide such a rare gem fueled curiosity. Stories surfaced of people checking jars of loose change, searching pockets, and turning over every copper coin they owned. The rarity became an obsession, with even non-collectors eager to strike lucky with a forgotten piece of pocket change. In 1997, the rarity of this error cannot be overstated, because the Royal Mint has always maintained high standards of quality control. Mistakes are rare, and when they happen, they usually affect only a tiny batch. That means the number of surviving new pence 1997 coins is extremely small, creating scarcity in the purest sense. Scarcity, when paired with desirability, naturally leads to value, and this is precisely why these coins have entered the realm of legend. In 1997, beyond the error itself, the cultural weight of the 2 pence added to its charm. This was a coin everyone in Britain had handled, associated with arcade machines, charity donations, and countless childhood memories. For such an everyday coin to carry a mistake transforming it into a rarity gave it an almost mythic status. It was no longer just money, it was history hiding in plain sight. In 1997, numismatists also placed this coin within a broader context, linking it to earlier and later minting errors. Coins with double strikes, off-center printing, or wrong metals have long fascinated collectors, but the 1997 2 pence held a special edge. It was not just a technical mistake, it resurrected a piece of Britain's decimal history by carrying an inscription from another era. This made it both a curiosity and a time capsule. In 1997, the myth continued to grow as demand pushed prices higher and higher. Collectors worldwide wanted to own a piece of this rare minting error, driving fierce competition in sales and auctions. While the exact number of surviving coins remains uncertain, their scarcity is undeniable. Every appearance in the market brings shock and awe, reminding people of the power of rarity in even the humblest objects. In 1997, the financial value of this error coin climbed to remarkable heights, with one example reportedly valued at $1.12 million. This astonishing figure transformed it from an obscure curiosity into one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. Its story became not only about history and collecting, but also about life-changing sums of money hidden in something as ordinary as a copper coin.